Nope.
This is Neil or pilot to CPG, radio check. So that was all done in SRS. I'll turn the volume down a bit on SRS.
Sorry, say again, missed that. Okay.
Off on the apron about 1 minute ago.
That was me.
Okay, I'm training on your 6, mate.
Altitude low. Altitude low.
I can't figure out how to turn that down at the moment.
Still don't know how to fly.
I've got control. I'm going to try and figure out where I am now. Oh, I know where I am. Yeah, gotcha. Yeah, the waypoint 1 was the edge of the lake, so the FARP is over on our 2 o'clock up on the hill with the tower, the radio tower.
Yeah, loud and clear. Yep, loud and clear. Roger, where's the master volumes found on SRS? Okay, right. It's off our nose, directly on top of the hill. Okay, so this is the range on our left. So I'll just gently fly over it. There's multiple targets. In fact, there's one on the just on our 9 o'clock now on the tarmac road, about 200 meters. You call out your preference how you want to deal with these. If you want me to go into a hover, just so you can try that, or we can do a gun run. I don't mind. I'm happy to practice both.
God, how hard is it to find a bloody lake?
Okay, in my HMD I've got PHMD, but then I've got C gun, which I'm assuming is you got control of the
Chain
gun.
gun.
Oh, is that chain gun, is it? Okay.
I think the co-pilot has it as well.
Right.
Ah, there's the lake.
At this point, I'm hoping I'm flying the right way here.
The best way to find it, I think, is if you go over the coast, follow the coast up north, you'll see the carrier group.
That's how I did it.
Yeah, I'm far inland for the coast now.
And then
I'll
when you,
follow you far quickly.
and when you get to the carrier group, you want to sort of head sort of about 2 o'clock from the carrier group.
Yeah.
Hopefully I'm heading towards the right gate.
I'm not sure I can drop smoke because I think because I haven't labelled the unit names up properly. You can't use CTLD until I change the names.
These can be interacted with just like it can be pretty helpful. We're gonna go ahead and hit gunner's helmet sight. So once again, our SPI, our acquisition source, is set to our gunner's helmet sight. I'm gonna hit that slave button again. And now we can see that it's moving. And it's moving based on my head movement. I'll go ahead and put my HTU back on. So essentially, the TADS is just slave to my helmet, and everywhere I look, it's going to... And we look at the bottom right there, and it says FXD, or fixed. So I want you to think of this as your SPI, your sensor point of interest. So our TADS is right now fixated on this
what are the
acquisition
targets over
source, the
there,
SPI, which is currently fixed.
There's
So
all
it
sorts.
is
There's
just locked
BTRs,
forward.
BRDMs,
And we can change
there's a couple
these
of
SPIs,
PMPs,
these
but
acquisition
they're sort of
sources,
there.
a
I've set
couple
up a
different
random
ways. The two
table,
primary ways, sitting in the front seat,
so
we're typically going to have a weapons
select
page
as
and
they're
a TSD
destroyed,
page up.
they'll be
If
replenished
we look
from the
down
random
here
tables. They
at
could
the
be
bottom right of our
T90s,
screen,
BRDMs,
we've got our
BMPs,
acquisition source.
some
We'll
artillery
go ahead and
pieces
click
in the
that.
table.
And we can see that we've got some options up here.
Nice.
Here, so we've got PHS, that's pilot helmet sight. We've got GHS, that's our sight, the gunner's helmet sight. We've got a question mark seeker, we'll talk about that in a second. We've got fixed.
We're just
And
hovering.
down here we've got
Well,
a
not
question
hovering,
mark,
but
so this would be a terrain point. Well, first of all, we'll start up here with the pilot helmet sight. If I select that,
Have you
you
managed
see
to
acquisition
follow,
has changed.
Falcon,
We
Matt?
can see that over here
Yeah,
on the
I'm
bottom
6,
right of our display, it is also letting us know that our TADS is currently set to look at
When
this
you get
spot.
to the range,
our
get Falcon
soy
to fly over the,
is set to look at this
the farm, so
speed.
you know where it is.
Now, it's not going to do anything until I hit the slave button, which is here on DHMD. And we can also see it there on the bottom
Just like
left,
a puppy at the moment,
our
following
TDAC
my dad.
screen. And if we want to change our sensor of
We'll lead
interest
you
to our
astray as well,
TADS,
so
we'll
watch
just
it.
right select TADS, and that brings us up to our TADS display here, and it's right select. And if we want to change,
Alright, I think I found it. Oh, nice.
Well, the
You know-
carrier group.
The farm, I think. There's a mast, a big mast here. Red
That's
one.
right. Yeah, I can see
Oh,
you.
nice.
Yeah, I can see you.
Oh, yeah, it's
Um,
early on you guys.
You see, McNabb? I knew where I was going at.
Yeah, I trust you. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know how did you just follow me, but we found it.
You can actually do something on that part. You might drop the waypoint.
Okay. Maybe we should land here and see.
Yeah, I need to go and check the dinner as well, so.
Yeah.
Ah, there's the fault.
There's always aircraft at the FARP as well. Don't forget. Although
Yeah.
they don't have any weapons loaded.
I want my gun fire.
Oh, that's a good point actually. I'll go and land at the FARP and go and get some weapons on board, Scooby.
Alright. Nice area here. I like it.
Yeah, this is sort of like our forward base really.
Nice. Can you rearm here?
Yeah, you should be able to. Yeah, there's all the bits there to rearm.
Alright.
Eagle 2 coming into land at the FARP. I'm going on one of the main 4 landing spots. Excellent. I'm just going to do a little small circuit and come on down to land at the on the FARP.
Rifle.
One thing I've noticed when you fire a missile off, anyone that's sort of even close to being in front of you, all of their automatic
Yeah, mine
flares
did.
pop off. Yeah, so that must have been Paul. Was that your flares that popped
I
up,
didn't
Paul?
fire, yeah, I was flaring, my system was active.
Yeah, I was doing that the other day with Yogi, firing missiles, and he was popped all his flares off.
Can't get my gun to fire.
Have you got your
Oh, no, my gun fire.
that pesky trigger
No
guard
bloody
thing?
range in it. Switch to rockets now.
Yeah, it's much easier than just throwing rocks at the place.
Try rockets. Still can't hit a bloody barn door.
That's why we built a training range.
Yeah.
I'll be back.
Yeah, no problem. I'll just go and what weapons do you want?
Bloody hell, they went quick. That's that for the fun.
Roger. I'll get as many. I'll fill up with the Hellfire and obviously the gun. YouTube's your friend.
No, I actually brought my iPad in with me so I could sit and watch it while I was in the background.
Change our center of interest to our TADS. We'll just
Okay, we're
right
down.
select
and
pads,
just loading up.
and that brings us up to our TADS display here, and it's repeated both on the TDAC and on our HDU. We can see down. All right, so once again, and I've covered it elsewhere, we have 2 options for these pieces of equipment. We've got the sensor, and we've got a sight. And so you might be wondering, if you haven't watched anything about that, why is nothing moving with my head? Why is it frozen?
Okay,
Because
I've
right now
got,
we've got, see, once again, we have our
Hellfires
sight
on.
selected as TADS. And then we look at the bottom right there, and it
That's
says
another Hellfire.
FXD or fixed. So I want you to think
That'd
of
be
this
loads.
as your SPI, your sensor point of interest.
We
So
might
our
need
TADS
them, you never know.
is right now fixated on this acquisition source, the
But it's
SPI,
not more than
which
less.
is currently fixed.
Absolutely.
So it is just locked forward.
This is the first time
And we
I've
can
flown
change
with
these
CPG,
SPIs, these acquisition
Scooby's
sources.
in the front, so it'll be a nice learning curve.
Oh, right.
Yeah. No, I think I must have another button allocated to that. I'll check that now because that was absolutely not intent. Okay, I've got joystick button B6 for request aircraft control. So I'm going to clear. I'm going to clear that one then because I've no idea what buttons B6 is anyway. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's exactly the problem I have with Elite Dangerous as well. Okay, I would say that we're loaded up.
Yeah, be advised, guys, I'm approaching from you at 4 o'clock.
Roger. Okay, I'm going to go to
A couple different
page,
ways. The
which
2
will
primary
show up.
ways is set to look at
Yeah,
So I've
we're
hit the
all-
slave. I've got it
all
mapped to
loaded
my
up, we've got
controls,
full racks
and we can see
ready
that
to
the
go.
bottom of this high action display.
Well,
This is
do you want
our
me to just
field
go
of
into
regard, and this is
fly
our
the
field of
training
view.
area,
So
spot
this
some
is
enemy, and
all
then
the
we
places we can
decide
look.
how we take them out. No, that's fine.
And this square
No,
is actually where we
I've
are
put
looking,
mine in
and that little
to my
dot
Xbox
is
controller, but
actually
that don't mean
where
anything,
that
it's just
acquisition
words.
source, that SPI, is located. So that little dot, and that's just kind of helps us find things when things are off in different directions. All right, so let's take a look at some other acquisition sources. We'll go back, and like I said, we've got gunner helmet sight. So this is an interesting one, and one that I highly encourage guys to use, especially at night. It can be pretty helpful. We're gonna go ahead and hit gunner's helmet sight. So once again, our SPI, our acquisition source, is set to our gunner's helmet sight. I'm gonna hit that slave button again, and now we can see that it's moving. And it's moving based on my head movement.
Close enough to the ground.
Go ahead and
you
put
don't
my
need to worry
HD
about
back
it.
on.
I know.
So essentially, the TADS is just slave
So
to
have we
my
got on the
helmet,
pad then?
and
We've got
everywhere I look,
Paul and
it's going to
is that Mac on
try
the
to follow.
pad as well?
Now that
Philip?
crosshair, that line of sight,
Yeah,
is
I'm on
actually
the-
where
no,
I'm
on the
looking,
range.
and then you can
You're on the radio,
see that
come on the pad
the
then.
full crosshair is actually what the TADS is looking at, because there is a delay, right? The TADS only rotates at about
Are you
60
guns on
degrees
the
per
range?
second. If I move my head faster than that, and of course the broken
Yeah.
line of sight
I'm trying to
crosshair is going
find
to get
out the
somewhere
trim a bit.
faster
It's
than
a
the
bit-
TADS can keep up
You
with.
know, you do something
So if we see
wrong
something
and,
interesting, like we
aircraft
see this
is all
car
over
over
the
here,
place.
we can actually
Yeah.
deslave,
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
now we can move our
You
head,
have to
and the
find the
sight
right
still
spot for my
stays
trim.
looking at where we left it. All right, moving the HTU back out of the way, and we'll look back down at our acquisition sources. We'll go back to fixed again. I'm just going to click on that. It's immediately going to take us to where we keep our coordinate points target. If I wanted to look around waypoint 2, I would just deslave, and now I can use my thumb force controller.
Yeah, I personally
side
I found
around.
it a bit of a game changer having the. Okay, Philip, I think I'm on your.
All right, the last one we're going to take a look
2
at that is that Seeker.
300
I'm going to
meters.
go ahead and bring the aircraft to safe, and I'm going to
Yeah,
go ahead
100%.
and WAS my missiles. And now I'll hit acquisition. And we can see that Seeker is now enabled. So what this is going to do is basically slave the TADS to wherever that Seeker head is looking if we choose that. Now, of course, this doesn't make a lot of sense right now without someone else lasing, but I want you to just picture that if you had another aircraft. So essentially what I'm saying is the missile itself and the laser code. That the last thing we're going to talk about is how to use our CAC.
I can see you
Really?
broadcasting.
All right, so we're here on a TSD. We've got our cursor. And again, if you're having trouble getting your cursor